The Air Force just made a move that could change air warfare forever. The B-21 Raider, America's most advanced stealth bomber, might soon be hunting enemy fighters instead of hitting ground targets. This isn't science fiction. Right now, Pentagon planners are testing a concept that sounds impossible, turning a subsonic bomber into an aerial weapons platform that could carry dozens of missiles. China's building fighters faster than we can count them. Our solution: a flying arsenal that breaks every rule we thought we knew about air combat. What you're about to discover will shock you. Welcome to Jet Insight, where we bring you the latest developments in American military aviation. Today's story is one that senior Air Force officials are discussing behind closed doors, and it's already causing heated debates among strategists. The B-21 Raider program just took an unexpected turn that nobody saw coming. If you agree that innovation wins wars, type proud in the comments below. Section 1. The concept that changes everything. Here's what's happening at the highest levels of the Air Force. Sources inside the Pentagon confirmed in late September that military planners are seriously studying a revolutionary idea. They want to arm a large stealth aircraft with dozens of air-to-air missiles, not just a few for self-defense. We're talking about a flying weapons magazine that could fundamentally change how America fights for air superiority. The concept is called a missileer. Think of it as an arsenal plane that stays hidden behind the front lines, while our fighters do the dangerous work up front. The F-22s, F-35s, and the new F-47 would detect enemy aircraft using their advanced sensors. They'd feed targeting data to the missileer through secure networks. Then the bomber launches long-range missiles at targets the enemy never saw coming. This isn't just theoretical anymore. During war games conducted this past summer, two major commands made specific requests. U.S. Pacific Command asked for an air-to-air capable B-21 to be included in scenarios set in 2035. Air Force Global Strike Command made a similar request. Both wanted the capability for self-defense at minimum. That tells us the military sees real value in this approach. The timing makes perfect sense when you understand the threat. China is producing fifth-generation fighters at a rate that leaves American production in the dust. In a fight over Taiwan, Beijing could put hundreds of advanced aircraft in the air without even needing tanker support. Their bases are close. Ours are thousands of miles away. Our fighters would arrive with limited fuel and a limited number of missiles. That's a losing equation. But here's where it gets interesting. China isn't just building quality fighters. Intelligence reports suggest they're converting older third-generation aircraft into unmanned drones. Their strategy is simple and brutal. Throw cheap drones at American forces to soak up our expensive missiles. Once we're out of ammunition, their real fighters move in for the kill. It's a numbers game, and right now, they're winning. Section 2. Why traditional thinking doesn't work anymore. Before we dive deeper, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to us. The old model of air combat is dying. For decades, we relied on fast, maneuverable fighters to win the skies. Speed meant survival. Agility meant advantage. But modern air-to-air missiles changed the game completely. Today's weapons can hit targets over 100 miles away. The pilot who sees first and shoots first wins. Dogfighting is nearly extinct. This shift opens the door for platforms that seemed impossible before. A subsonic bomber doesn't need to outrun missiles anymore. It needs to avoid detection and carry enough weapons to overwhelm the enemy. The B-21 was designed from the ground up for stealth. Its radar signature is smaller than a bird. Enemy systems see it as nothing more than background noise. War games tell a disturbing story about America's current capabilities. In Pacific scenarios, our forces run out of advanced air-to-air missiles in 7 to 9 days. That's it. Just over a week of intense combat and we're dry. The defense industry can't produce AMRAAMs fast enough to rebuild our stockpiles. In 2026, maximum production will hit 677 missiles. That sounds like a lot until you realize how quickly modern combat burns through ammunition. The financial numbers are staggering. The Pentagon awarded $3.5 billion in contracts for air-to-air missiles this past July. Even with that massive investment, production can't keep pace with potential demand. Each AMRAAM costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. The next generation replacement, the AM-260, will cost even more. We're facing a crisis where we have plenty of platforms but not enough weapons to arm them. But wait, there's another problem that makes this situation worse. Our missile shortage isn't the only challenge. The Air Force is already dealing with a bomber deficit that's lasted for years. Combatant commanders around the world request bomber support far more often than the service can provide. Every B-1 and B-2 in the fleet is precious. Using them for air-to-air missions means they're not available for their primary job of striking high-value targets deep inside enemy territory. Section 3. The B-21 advantage. So why use the B-21 for this mission? The answer lies in what makes this bomber special. Unlike the B-52 or B-1, the Raider was built as a networked combat node. It doesn't just drop bombs. It collects intelligence, processes data, and shares information across the entire battle space. The aircraft was designed to work alongside unmanned systems called collaborative combat aircraft, or loyal wingman drones. The sensor suite on the B-21 is extraordinary. Details remain classified, but experts say it can build a comprehensive picture of the aerial battlefield better than most dedicated surveillance platforms. Those sensors would let the bomber track multiple targets simultaneously, while remaining virtually invisible to enemy radar. It could coordinate with fighters, drones, and even other B-21s to create an overwhelming tactical advantage. Payload capacity matters enormously in this concept. A fighter like the F-35 carries 6 air-to-air missiles internally while maintaining stealth. The B-21's weapons bay is massive by comparison. Industry analysts estimate it could carry several dozen missiles without breaking a sweat. That's the difference between a skirmish and a sustained air campaign. The flying wing design brings unexpected benefits to air-to-air combat. The B-21's shape naturally supports stealth from almost every angle. Fighters have to worry about their profile when they maneuver. The bomber doesn't need extreme maneuvers. It can maintain its stealthy aspect while positioning for missile launches. Enemy aircraft might never know they're being targeted until missiles are already in flight. Range is another critical factor. The B-21 can operate from bases far behind the front lines, well outside the range of enemy missiles and fighters. It doesn't need to penetrate defended airspace to be effective. The bomber could orbit in safe areas, acting as a quarterback calling plays while fighters execute them. When the shooting starts, it launches missiles that can reach targets hundreds of miles away. Recent flight testing shows the program is right on track. The second B-21 took to the skies on September 11, 2025. This aircraft will focus specifically on weapons and mission systems trials. That means the Air Force is moving beyond basic flight testing into the real work of making this bomber a combat-ready platform. Engineers are putting it through extreme conditions to certify it can handle anything a mission might throw at it. Section 4. The challenges ahead. Nothing this revolutionary comes without serious obstacles. The first problem is production capacity. Northrop Grumman can only build 7 to 8 B-21s per year right now. By the early 2030s, that number might reach 10 annually. Congress just provided $4.5 billion to potentially boost production to 20 per year. But even that number falls short if the Air Force needs dedicated missileers on top of regular bombers. There's real pushback from within the military. Air Force Global Strike Command, which controls the bomber fleet, has major concerns about this concept. Their reasoning is simple. We already have too few bombers for too many missions. Every Raider configured as a missileer is one less bomber available to hit strategic targets. The command worries about creating a capability gap, just as we're trying to close one. The missile shortage adds another layer of complexity. Even if we build more B-21s and configure them for air-to-air combat, what good are they without enough missiles? The defense industry struggles to meet current production targets. Adding a new weapons platform with huge appetite for missiles could make the shortage worse before it gets better. Some experts argue we should fix the ammunition problem before we invest in new delivery systems. Cost is always a factor in military programs. Each B-21 costs approximately $800 million. That's actually cheaper than the B-2, which ran about $2 billion per aircraft, but it's still a massive investment. Developing a dedicated missileer variant would require additional research, testing, and modifications. In an era of tight budgets, every dollar counts. The Air Force is already funding the B-21, the new F-47 fighter, and over 1,000 collaborative combat aircraft. Adding another major program strains resources Operational questions remain unanswered. How would a bomber-based missileer integrate with fighter operations? Traditional strike packages require perfect timing and coordination. Fighters, bombers, tankers, and electronic warfare aircraft all have to arrive at the right place at the right moment. Bombers typically operate from bases that can handle their size and maintenance needs. Those bases are often located far from fighter operations. Synchronizing everything becomes exponentially more difficult. Section 5. What the experts are saying. Senior Air Force officials are asking a fundamental question. What defines a fighter? One former F-15E pilot dropped bombs throughout his career. Does that make him a bomber pilot? The artificial boundaries between aircraft types are breaking down. Mark Gunzinger, a respected analyst at the Mitchell Institute, sees value in mixed weapon loads. A penetrating bomber carrying some air-to-air weapons alongside strike weapons makes tactical sense. Only bombers can bring mass to deep strike missions. Industry insiders reveal something fascinating. The air-to-air capability was discussed back in the late 2000s, but didn't make the cut. The Air Force desperately needed more stealth bombers. The threat environment looked different then. Former top Air Force officials called this concept interesting, but not crazy. The technical capability exists, but bombers will operate from major installations further back. Creating the coordination needed presents real challenges. DARPA's Longshot program offers an alternative. Small, expendable aircraft carry air-to-air missiles closer to the action. The military is exploring multiple solutions simultaneously. For those who served or support our military veterans, understanding these debates helps us stay connected to the future of American air power. Section 6. The strategic picture. China has transformed itself into a military superpower faster than anyone predicted. Their Air Force operates hundreds of modern fighters. Production facilities churn out J-20 stealth fighters at rates that dwarf American F-35 production. The Taiwan scenario dominates Pentagon planning. If conflict erupts, the United States would be fighting at the extreme edge of its operational reach. Every fighter sortie requires tanker support. China operates from dozens of bases within easy range. American strategy has always relied on technological superiority. The F-22 and F-35 remain the world's best fighters. But there's a point where quantity has a quality all its own. We need to multiply our effectiveness. The missileer concept addresses this challenge. One B-21 carrying 40 air-to-air missiles equals the firepower of nearly 7 F-35s. It just needs to stay hidden and launch weapons when called upon. The B-21 program continues advancing. At least 6 aircraft are now in various stages of production and testing. The Air Force plans to acquire at least 100 aircraft, though many believe the number will climb higher. Section 7. Looking forward. The Air Force hasn't made final decisions about the missileer concept. Right now, serious studies are underway. War games will continue testing the idea. The military doesn't rush into major capability changes. The second B-21 entering flight testing marks a crucial milestone. This aircraft will focus on weapons integration and mission systems. If adding air-to-air weapons proves relatively simple, the case gets stronger. Production acceleration could change everything. If Northrop Grumman can ramp up to 20 B-21s per year, the numbers start working better. That $4.5 billion investment signals strong political support. The missile shortage is getting attention. Industry is investing in new production facilities. The AIM-260 replacement will be more effective. These factors could ease the shortage within 5 to 10 years. Collaborative combat aircraft will play a major role. The Air Force plans to acquire over 1,000 loyal wingman drones. A B-21 missileer coordinating with multiple CCAs creates a whole new dimension of capability. Section 8. The bottom line. The Air Force is actively studying the possibility of using B-21 Raiders as missile-carrying platforms for air-to-air combat. This isn't about dogfighting, it's about using stealth, sensors, and standoff range to change aerial warfare. The concept addresses real problems: China's numerical superiority, America's limited missile stockpiles, the need for force multiplication. The missileer idea might be part of the answer, or it might prove impractical. Time will tell. American air power continues evolving to meet emerging threats. The men and women of the United States Air Force deserve our support and appreciation. The B-21 Raider represents the cutting edge of that effort. This development shows our military leaders aren't stuck in old thinking. They're willing to challenge assumptions and explore new possibilities. That kind of innovation has always been America's secret weapon. That's how we've maintained air superiority for over 70 years. The B-21 Raider story is just beginning. Stay tuned to Jet Insight for the latest updates on this program and all developments in American military aviation. If you found this information valuable, hit that like button and subscribe. The future of air combat is being written right now, and we'll keep you informed every step of the way.